Hey guys, Brady here with a random woodworker. Maybe we should call it a random anything. We'll see. But I won't be doing much woodwork, like I said, because of my hands and stuff. But I'm getting a EW20 mobility scooter delivered here today. It's not a wheelchair, it's a mobility scooter. I did about a year's research on what kind and what will best fit me. So I'm going to go ahead and film parts of it being uncrated and explain a few things on it, what I wanted. I don't know if anybody out there down the road is going to need one, but yeah, it'll help you out a little bit because there's hundreds of them out there. So I just wanted to kind of help anybody out there that's looking for one. All right, as you can see, I uncrated the EW20. I'm going to go over some stats with it and see how they measure up to what the stats say on their website. Okay, I found a few issues. This was connected on here like so. Well, they had it so tight that this basket was pulled up so tight against, it was rubbing against this tail light right here. Look at this, I can barely get it there now, but that's how tight this was. And it was loose. The two bolt nuts over here, they're totally loose, just like these. See these loose these are? How loose that is? And these are loose too down there. You can move this basket. So they might have left it loose so they could really bend it up here. And I didn't like it because it was rubbing against the tail light there. So I came up with this idea. Well, it came off of here and I added this to it. If you notice, I tweaked it a little bit so it aimed upright. Before they had it like this. So I tweaked it like so it'll aim up a little bit. Then I'll put the bolt and nuts back on that end, and then I'll go ahead and drill a hole here and fasten it here. This will be nice. I'll be certain. Then I'll go around and tighten all this down. Okay, as you can see here, I added this piece of aluminum bar across right here. Okay, there's a screw there and a screw there, and then the bar that goes across, and that made this super. Look at that, how solid that is now. And then, if you notice, I raised right here. I raised the seat up about 3 inches. So I got that done. Once I get that welded around there, I'll go ahead and paint it black. Okay, on the front tire, it was not lined up with the steering bar across here. If you did a 90 and come down, the tire was actually turned to one side a little bit. So I went inside here, dropped this down. There's a screw in there. You loosen and tighten it to adjust the tire, so I did that. Now I took it on the grass outside of my house here. I did terrible. It didn't, it basically bogged down. So it's not very good for going on soft surfaces. As you can see, I took the tire off because I want to adjust the back brakes or disc, but they are so tight. Look at this. I barely turn that. Tell me that ain't gonna wear that battery down going down the road real fast. Plus, this will get hot over a period of time, so I'm gonna loosen up these brakes a little bit. Okay, I got this one adjusted. Now check it out. Look, I can just spin it by hand. It doesn't wobble or anything, but look at it. I loosened these two up, loosened this up, adjusted it, then tightened it back down to where it's free. Then this I loosened so I get more free in the cable up, you know, the handbrake. So that way, this is for the handbrake, so it ain't as tight, but here's the way it should be. Spin like that. So I'm gonna go ahead and do the other side. Okay, all in all, I pretty well got it done. Just to recap real fast, I went over this part with you earlier. I forgot to mention this part. I noticed when you, the handle, see how it moves just a little bit? That's perfect, so they adjusted that good. They should move a little bit, both sides. That's perfect. Okay, I got this, I got everything lined up. Show you this real quick here. This is a quick release, so this will fold up. The chair comes off. Then you can put it in the back of your car, but you can see the bolt right here. If you loosen that, you can adjust the tire parallel with the steering wheel. Okay, so that's what I did there. Let's see what else we got. Got the basket all done. Okay, I got it all strapped in. It's real strong. It does vibrate right in here a little bit. From this part here, it does. Here, I'm going down the road, so I'm put some kind of rubber deal in there to stop that. But other than that, it's pretty well done and tuned up. The brakes are good. If you notice, this is a back brake. It squeezes about to here when it starts applying, which is good. Before you couldn't even move it. All right, test drove it. One of the tires locked up a little, so I went in and backed off a little. And right now it's great. Everything's ready to go. I took it, and it does haul ass. You put it at the high speed, 15 miles an hour, it cooks. The next thing I decided to check is the bottom of the seat, and I found some issues. One is this is not supposed to move at all with this locked in. See how it doesn't move at all? Well, it was moving. So I'm going, what's that about? Well, I'm going to find out this is over here, so it wouldn't let this come up very far. So I tightened this down. This nut was totally loose. So that made this turn, which this sprocket in here wasn't connected all the way, so this thing would actually rotate a little bit. So I adjusted this, tightened this, now it's right on the money there. I decided to check these 4 here to see if they were tight on the seat. They were loose. So I took them off for the heck of it to see if maybe I could move the seat back a little. And I found out that I could by drilling this out and this out. These holes are here. These holes are here. The only ones that weren't there are this one and this one. So I drilled these out, moved the seat back, and put them back in. I put some washers here because right here it hits a little. So I put washers behind all 4 of them to keep it straight. This overhangs a little, but I already sat on it. It does not get in the way. So now these, they're on the back of the seat. All 4 of these are the same kind. They're on the back. They were loose. These were loose. So in reality check on this CW20, a lot of this stuff is loose, and a lot of it's kind of a safety hazard too. So I don't know what they're doing. I guess they have very little quality control, but I got this going for me. Now I got the seat back about 1.5 inches back, which is good for me because I'm like 6 feet tall. If you're shorter, of course, you don't need to do this, but this is a concern. Check all this, make sure all this is tight, along with the bolts to make sure the seat stays on here. So that was just those issues there. Okay, I want to let you know too that this arm, well, it's actually the steering part. It's made to drop down so you can put it in the back of your car. But the issue with this is, right here, this pops over, so this arm drops down, so it makes it lower, so you can put it in the back of your car. But I've clipped this up myself, and this was wobbling. It was moving in here. And I didn't like that. So there's a screw here you can tighten down. Open this up, you tighten the screw, but then it's so hard to clip this back in, I couldn't do it. So I had my son, he uses muscles and popped it in. Now it doesn't move anymore. I didn't like that feeling. So if you adjust this, you need somebody with muscles to clip this back on. Okay, so I wanted to let everybody know too, if you want to get hold of me for any reason, you can get hold of me on my email at bradyphillip3@gmail.com. Brady Phillip, P-H-I-L-L-I-P, the number 3@gmail.com. All right, this is the specs for the EW20. I don't know if you can read this or not, but I can just go over real fast. The stuff in red is what I've come up with. Okay, the seat, it does not adjust up or down. It does not adjust up or down. It does not slide back and forth. The armrests do flip up. That's about it. It does turn 360 degrees, so you can lock it every quarter turn. You can lock the seat every quarter turn, which is kind of cool. You need about 6 feet inside the store to turn around so you don't have to back up. So around 6 feet will work. It's 64 to 67 inches, but give yourself a little bit of extra, so 6 feet will work. The seat, it's actually 16 by 16. Okay, it's not 16 by 13 and a half. The It's a hub brushless motor, meaning it's a front wheel drive, not rear, it's front wheel drive. Okay, the basket is 47, well, with no basket. It says 47 inches turning radius, but I don't see how they got that one. I got 64, but that's what it says. You got your voltage, which the batteries are not removable inside. You charge it from plugging it outside. You cannot take the batteries out of it. The tires, some people say, well, some different companies say it's air filled, some say it's solid rubber, some say it has tubes, some say it doesn't. Well, mine is tubeless and it's air filled on the tires, both front and back. Okay, it does have the rear light. Yeah, it does have a rear light. It comes on, it brakes. When you brake, it comes on. It's got a little turn signal left and right in the back. You can barely see it. It's okay there. Shocks, the front have shocks. The back is spring. So you have front on the shocks, back are spring. 3-year warranty, as far as I'm concerned, is not good, because after 30 days, you basically stuck with it. So be careful. Even after before 30 days, they want you to pay for shipping and send it back in the original shipping container, which is pretty hard to do. I took it off the pallet and had to uncrate it. It's kind of a pain if you're worse off than I am when it comes to your hands or your feet or whatever. It'd be a pain in the ass just to uncrate it. So you might want to consider that too. It does have a USB port, which you charge yourself when it has that. Let's see what else. Now, if you're going to buy a hauling trailer that you put on the back of your receiver of your car or truck, the inside of that trailer, it has to be no less than 47 long by 26 wide. Okay, if it's 47 by 26, it will fit. Any smaller and it won't fit. Okay, it came with a free arm bag, which is useless. It's too big. It doesn't work. It came with a free cup holder. It's okay. It did strap to the side of the steering. The cell holder, fit kind of bad. I don't even use it because I can't get it to fit very good with all the different cables coming in and out of the handlebars. You just can't know where to put it. So the cell holder is kind of useless on that. Everything else is basically specs are correct on all the rest of it. So I wanted to give you a fast fill-in. If you decide to buy the EW20, remember a couple things. Uncrating it. If you're like 6 feet and 220 pounds, that's what I am. It's kind of small. It'll work. Now you see all the different things I showed you earlier on how I'm fixing it all, and you're probably asking yourself, well, do you regret buying it? No, I don't regret buying it, because now that I got it fixed, it's really nice. For somebody that don't have the tools or the time or just can't fix it, well, I don't know the quality control how that works, but you might want to consider the issues here before you purchase one. Okay guys, I got about 30 miles on this unit. I want to go over a few things. It does ride pretty rough, so it kind of beats you up a little bit, but I noticed one thing that happened was, if you look here, I lost that lens, the red lens on the brake light somewhere on the street. Don't know where it's at. I called them. It's about $70 for a new one, so I said, I'll live without it. The other thing would be overpass. I went in the overpass with it at a number 3 speed, which is 15 miles an hour, and it did a fine job going over the overpass. So it did it 4 or 5 times, and the battery's fine. It lasted. Now let's see what else we got. The steering column. I noticed, if you look right here, this adjustable steering column right here, to make the neck go up and down, it came loose, and the bottom part came loose over the 30 miles, so I had to retighten that again. the seat. I took it to the casino for about 4 hours and I was sitting on it. And I started sliding forward. It was getting uncomfortable because the padding ain't the best. So what I did is, if you look here, I put a piece of wood under here, under both sides, of oak, to lift the front of it up a little so it wouldn't slide off. Okay, I did a lot of modifications. You remember, I'm 220 pounds and 6 feet tall, so this unit's a little small for me, but you don't know that when you're buying it. Okay, let's see what else we got. We got, my main concern on this would be the back brakes. I'll put it in third, which is 15 miles an hour, and I brake the front and the back as hard as I can. It takes about 40 feet to stop this. If you look, those disc brakes on there are nice, but they're just way too small. And so now I guess if you're lighter and shorter, stop a little faster, but that's probably my main issue, is that the brakes are just way too small for this unit when you're doing 15 miles an hour. If you're in a shopping mall or in a supermarket, it works great at 5 miles an hour. It works great there, because I did take it in the supermarket. It turns real good, real tight, so you can turn around in there and stuff like that. So it works good there. Okay, that does it for the EW20. The one thing that you cannot get on this is electromatic brakes. They don't offer it on this model. Okay, so you got to do the squeeze handle part on it. But I hope this helped people out. I've looked on the internet to try to find somebody that actually did any kind of survey on this. Couldn't find it, so I figured I'd do it. I appreciate it, guys. Thanks for tuning in, and we will be talking to you soon.